gathering over for the consecutive program of Technical Festim 11.0. We, the part of Arun Engineering College, proudly present the Technical Festim 11.0. This event is triggered by the Department of Computer Science Engineering by ensuring the faculty relationship between as well as to the students to be in the right manner. So this initiative is to identify the young professionals and their needs towards the industrial expectations. And we ourselves feel that what we are doing is just a drop in the ocean. The single drop will definitely enlighten the Asians and igniting minds actually. So I take this opportunity to invite the two young minds of our Department of Computer Science Engineering, Mr. Karthikeyan and Ms. Gayatri, to present the topic of the recent technologies, which what they learned actually. So before that, let I have a brief introduction about Mr. Karthikeyan and Ms. Gayatri actually. Both the peoples are having a wide knowledge in the Python and having a good basic platform on the knowledge of an HTML, CSS, JavaScript and jQuery actually and so on. And both the people has been attended many workshops and internships to develop their personal career as well as the curriculum related subjects oriented knowledge they have been having widely. So on behalf of the department, I invite these two young minds to make this STEM 11.0 to be a successive one actually. So first of all, I will call Mr. Karthikeyan, who is going to present a topic on jQuery. And this will be definitely useful for the third year students, especially to gain the knowledge about the web development actually. So Mr. Karthikeyan, you can take over the session now.
Okay, sir. Hello, everyone. It's my immense pleasure to welcome you all for this STEM event 11.0. Firstly, I would like to thank our HOD, Dr. Jyotish Kumar sir, for organizing these kinds of event during this pandemic situation. It's really helpful for students, those who are interested in e-learning. So here we go, guys. Before starting the session, prerequisite for jQuery is you should have a basic knowledge of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. These are the basics of jQuery. So now we see brief introduction of jQuery. Firstly, jQuery is not a language. It is a library file. Purpose of jQuery is in JavaScript. For example, we can DOM the manipulation. Suppose we need to hide or show the DOM manipulation. Here, DOM is nothing but it's an HTML element. So using JavaScript, we have give some input code for hide or show the DOM manipulation. In JavaScript, we should give n number of inputs for our code. So this is a disadvantage of JavaScript because it requires large number of codings. Here DOM is nothing but it's an HTML element. So using JavaScript, we have give some inputs code for hide or show the DOM. In JavaScript, we should give some code and we should overwrite the code for fraction number of codes. To overcome this, our JavaScript developers write a code and they embedded it into a library file. So users need not to overwrite a code. Instead of writing a huge number of codes, users can call function using that library file. So that code will generate in Java and that jQuery file. So that code will generate in the developer side. Time consumption is needed, so developer preferring jQuery. It is also easy to debug. The main motto of jQuery is write less, do more, which in the sense our coding section is very simple. Our expected output is huge. So we'll get started, guys. Objective of jQuery. What is jQuery? History of jQuery. Why jQuery? How does it works? We'll see one by one. What is jQuery? jQuery is a fast and small. Why? Because it is a rich JavaScript library and it is a cross platform, which in the sense we may use in Windows or Linux. It's our specifications. It makes things like HTML document traversal and DOM manipulation, event handling, and animations and Ajax and so on. With a combination of versatility and extensible, jQuery has changed the way that millions of people write JavaScript. And it also takes a common task. It requires a single line of code. History of jQuery. It was developed by John Drishik in Jan 2006 at Bar Camp NYC. Now it was currently developed by Timmy Wilson, the team developer of jQuery. Some core features of jQuery is listed below. That is Ajax utilities, HTML event methods, CSS manipulation, DOM manipulation. We can also say that HTML manipulation and HTML event methods and so on. So why jQuery? First, we need to know why jQuery is needed. Why? Because it is helps to manipulate HTML and CSS, and it also helps to manipulate DOM elements. It provides events method to trigger and respond to events on HTML page, such as we click mouse under that cells implemented using Ajax calls. The familiar companies like Google, IBM, Netflix, Microsoft are using jQuery. So it's one of the familiar library file. We'll see jQuery syntax. Here, dollar symbol indicates selector. Instead of using selector, we may use jQuery also, because it's a selector function. That action function indicates performance of elements. Selector is for finding elements. How to select an element in jQuery? It's a simple step, guys. With jQuery, you can select HTML elements with the performance of some actions on the elements. We can also query it. jQuery actions. With jQuery, you select HTML elements and perform some actions. They are listed below. For example, this dot hide. It represents it hide the current element, and the paragraph tag hide all the paragraph elements. Here, see that this dot represent class and this hash represent ID. When we call with the dot test, that slides will all hide with the class. When we call with the hash, the ID elements will all hide within the text. jQuery selectors. Firstly, jQuery selectors allows you to select and manipulate HTML elements. They are used to find HTML elements based on their names, ID, classes, types, etc. How to use selectors? They are very simple. You have to require that simple steps. While using jQuery, they get the exact element that you want from your HTML elements. Here I mentioned a few familiar selectors of jQuery. Firstly, asterisk, which means it selects all the functions in our body section. Here, as I mentioned previously, hash indicates ID. So it shows element select with ID. Here, likewise, class, dot class, element, element 1, element 2, up to odd and even first child. Here, familiar sections like first child or selector using paragraph tags of their parent node. Here, jQuery effects. jQuery provides a trivially simple interface for doing various kinds of amazing efforts. jQuery methods allows us to quickly apply the common efforts like minimum configuration. It enables us to add some efforts on a web page and fading, sliding, hiding, and so on, like animate efforts. Here, this function indicates animate function. It runs custom animation on selected elements. This indicates clear queue. It works. It removes all remaining queued function from the selected elements. Delay function is a very familiar function. Why? Because it sets a delay for all queued function. Here, same wise, dequeue also removes next function from queue and execute the function. Fade in works like sunrise. Fade out works like sunset. Likewise, fade to, fade toggle. Here, toggle is nothing but if we give 5 minutes, it will provide -5. I'm saying it is a negation 1. if we give some input means it will reflect opposite. That's the specification of toggle. Finish is used for finish. Hide used for hide the current selector slide. Likewise, Q is show the content of the slide. Here jQuery events. Mainly jQuery events is one of the best one. Why? Because event method trigger or attach functions like event handler for the selected elements. We have ability to create a web page by using these events. For example, by clicking a mouse and by clicking a web page loading and by submitting an HTML element form, because events or action that are be detected by your web application. Here is some methods of jQuery events. One is event.current target and event.data, event.delegate target, and so on. Likewise, up to event.prevent default functions are available in jQuery events. Here, miscellaneous function. Firstly, jQuery miscellaneous method used for get the data from an element, or it is used to set the data from an element. Here is some information about miscellaneous methods. One is a $post function, Ajax complete function, and another one is Ajax error up to serialize array function. These are the familiar methods of miscellaneous jQuery. Here is traversing. It's a powerful one. We can also say it's a powerful tool also. Why? Because it provides a variety of DOM traversal methods to help us. It selects elements in a document randomly as well as in a sequential method. Most of DOM traversal methods do not modify the jQuery. Why? Because the object, they are not used to filter. Instead of filtering, they are selecting an element from a document based on the given conditions. Here is some traversing DOMs like largest category or in tree traversal structure, and it also allows us to traverse the DOM. It is one of the familiar method in jQuery, Ajax. Basically, Ajax is nothing but it's asynchronous JavaScript and XML. Ajax is a heart of exchanging data with a server and updating parts of web page without reloading the whole page. Here I mentioned $post up to serialize array. As I mentioned, their miscellaneous functions. Likewise, Ajax functions also have these kinds of elements. This is a familiar of Ajax method. We can also say Ajax is an application we use like Gmail. We are using in a modern world, we are using Gmail, Google Maps, YouTube, and Facebook tabs. Using these functions, we are assigning Ajax. jQuery provides several methods for Ajax functionality. That is, you can request HTML, XML, or JSON from a remote sensor using both of HTTP request and HTTP post method. Here, callbacks and functions. A function is passed using a callback, and it's organizing another function without having knowledge of callbacks. Why? Because it's a parent function, so it has said to be a special one. Because to execute using this parent, we can say it's more precious. Here, the browser can execute other functions doing the sorts of works. We can also pass them into parent functioning. Now we'll see the practical section, guys, how it works. Here I opened 3 folders. One is jQuery execution.html and another one is javascript.js, and third one is simple.css. This is my main page. As I mentioned here, I saved it in HTML format. So I have opened my HTML opening tag and closing tag. Inside H section, this is our jQuery library file, guys. Instead of typing huge number of codes, we just typed single line. Why? Because it's a library file of jQuery. And I also link my CSS file. As I saved here simple.css, I linked using href. We should make sure our file name should be same in our reference value. I give a type as text.css and I give reference as style sheet. My title is jQuery. Once I did this work, I should enclose my head function. You don't bother about opening and closing. Why? Because in Visual Studio, they will provide when we open a HTML opening tag, it will automatically close. So we no need to worry about that. Inside body section, we have 3 DOM manipulation. As I mentioned in PPT, DOM manipulation. This is DOM manipulation. I give div function. This is ID attribute. Attribute values first. I give this. I assigning for first div function 2 attribute. One is ID and another one is class. I give value for IDs first and class for para. I opening 3 div function and I give my content as CSE, IT, EEE. And I also assigned on input button. PTN is nothing but it's on button. Value for button is click. Once we have finished this, we should enclose this body section. Here we mentioned library file and linking of CSS file. For JavaScript, we should have link. For that, I am giving a scripting tag. Scripting tag is one of the familiar tag of JavaScript. Have an assigning source attribute. Inside, we should give a file name as we saved in our text editor. That is nothing but this is javascript.js. Once we finished this, we move on to javascript.js. Here it is very simple, guys. See, document.ready function. This is only one function working these kind of codes. With intersense, it indicates dollar symbol. I previously mentioned dollar is nothing but jQuery. Instead of putting dollar, you may also directly jQuery. It's not a problem. Why? Because both are same only. Okay. It indicates document.ready. When HTML and CSS are ready to functioning, then JavaScript will work. This line describes that only. Here I am selecting button. It's nothing but this ID. Instead of ID, I am just noted there hash, and then I put btn value for ID is button. This is a function called click function. Here my work is I want to hide first one, which is nothing but this is ID. For ID, I give this hashtag value. I directly mentioned first. My function is it have to hide. When I click button, it have to hide. That is my function. We'll see how it will work. This is our CSV files for styling and coloring. Now we'll see the output. I'm opening my browser and I saved my file as jQuery.execution. I double clicking it. Once I double click this, see this is our expected output. I'm refreshing this CSE IT EEE. When I click this, CSE want to hide. See, it hided. When I click again, it won't come because our function is hide only. Instead of using hide, we may use show function also. Wait a while. Here I am mentioning show and I saved my program. Once I go to my output section and now I am clicking this, nothing will happen. Why? Because we just give show function only. We can also give simultaneously both function also. For that, we need to assign another button called button 1. I just copying it and I pasted here. We have to give button 1. Why? Because already we assigned here button. And here also we need to copy this. And we have to paste it here. We should change our button to button 1. We should change our function. First, it should be in hide. While clicking that button 1, it should be show. We'll see how it will work. Once I finish, I save it here. Now I am refreshing my page. See here, this is a 2-click button is available there. When I click this button, CSC have to hide. When I click this button, it shows. We'll see. Now I'm clicking this, CSC hide. Now I'm clicking this, CSC will show. This is a major usable function in jQuery. Instead of using these two functions, instead of assigning these two input buttons, we may also assign with single function called toggle function. We'll see how it will work. Instead of giving this much of code, I'm just erasing this. And I just give one function called toggle. See here, and I save it now. Now I am refreshing my web page. See that click button is gone. Once I click this, it a while. Okay, button, we should give button and dot click toggle function. We should have enclosed this. Once we save this, we should check all the functions are correct in manner. Okay, I just make a mistake of toggle, sorry. Okay, now I'm refreshing my page. Now I'm clicking, CSC is gone. Now I click this button, CSC will show. Instead of using that hide and show in a different manner, we can use toggle. And we can also, wait a while, we can also change the background color for the CSC ID and EEE. For this, I'm going my style sheet cascading, that is nothing but CSS. I just giving a background color. I just view this dark golden rod. Once I saved here, and I'm refreshing this. See, this is our output. We can also insert a image using source attribute. For that, I'm creating src. I have saved it in my HTML file. I'm giving my width is 200. And also I give my height is 200. Once I give, I close my hello bracket. This is a self-closing tag, so we need not to close like this div function. So once we done, I saved here, and I'm refreshing here. See, we got our image. Like this, NPTF function is there in jQuery. It's really worth. Instead of going JavaScript, we can move on into jQuery. Advantages of jQuery is nothing but it is very simple, readable, and reusable. It is very easy to use. Instead of using JavaScript, we may use jQuery library file. It's an eradication of requirements using the scripting library files. That's all about our section. Thank you so much, guys. Be safe be safe and take care. Everything will all right during this pandemic situation. We are not at meeting. Coming soon. Get well soon, guys. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you all.
Thank you, Karthikeyan, for your wonderful presentation, which give you about the basic knowledge about how the jQuery will be adapted to the HTML as well as the CSS, and what are the basic methods as well as the functionalities which is needed to enroll the jQuery, and how the platform will be created for that. So thanks for your nice presentation. So I call the next young mind of the department, Ms. Gayatri, to present about the topic of XSS. Gayatri, are you on the line?
Yes, sir.
So you can take over the presentation, Gayatri.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to all. Hope everyone is doing good. Thank you so much, sir, for inviting me to this STEM program. It's my immense pleasure to be a part of this program, sir. So let me introduce myself. I'm Gayatri from third year Department of Computer Science, Aruna Engineering College. In this session, we are going to see what is cross-site scripting. Uh, Cross-site scripting is shortly termed as XSS, where X stands for cross. Then we have to learn about how to install and configure the Burpshoot application, and we can discuss about how it works and how it connects. Let's enter into the session. Cross-site scripting is nothing but a type of security vulnerability, which means it can locate some weakness in a web application, and that particular weakness can be exploited by the hackers. The hacker can use some malicious script or some exploitation to exploit that particular weakness with the user's browser. And when comparing cross-site scripting with the other web attacks may concentrate on the users of the particular web application, but the cross-site scripting will directly attack the application itself. So it is one of the advantages of cross-site scripting. We can say cross-site scripting is one of the best attack because when cross-site scripting attacks the user's browser, the user browser will not suspect that whether the script is uh, whether the script is whether the script can be trusted or not, because it considered that this is coming from a trusted website, so it trusts the script and it allows the script to be executed on the user program. So this is one of the best advantages of cross-site scripting. uh, with the research made in 2007 estimates that many web pages are nearly 68% of the websites are open for XSS attacks. Now we can go for who launched the cross-site scripting and when they launched. Cross-site scripting was launched by the Microsoft security engineers. Security engineers are the people who are very expert and well versed in supervising the data and um, preventing the data from the breaches and traps. So this is one of the major work of the security engineers. So the cross-site scripting was launched in January 2000. Now let us see how cross-site scripting will work. In cross-site scripting, the code will be injected at the client side and it will be executed on the server-side interpreter. So we can shortly call the XSS attack as client-side code injection attack. Um, the script with the malicious can access the cookies or some other information, some other user credentials which is returning from the user's browser, can be accessed by the script, and the important informations will be transmitted from user browsers to the attacker browser. The output of the successful code injection is very disastrous. For example, the attacker is allowing some viruses or computer worms to propagate the user's computer. It will propagate to the user's system and it will create a very disastrous to the computer system, so that we can understand that the code was injected properly and it was successful injection. Then we can learn about how the cross-site scripting is connected between the hacker and the user. In XSS, victim and the hacker are connected through a common point called a website, where the hacker can inject the where hacker can inject the malicious script into the website, and the hacker will wait for the victim to visit that particular web page. As soon as the victim visit this trusted web page, the malicious script which is injected by the hacker will get triggered, and it starts working with the user's system and transfers all the informations from the victim to hacker. This is how victim and the hacker will be connected while we are performing cross-site scripting. So now we can see what are the types of cross-site scripting. There are three major types of cross-site scripting. They are reflected cross-site scripting, stored cross-site scripting, and DOM-based cross-site scripting. Reflected cross-site scripting is also called as a non-persistent cross-site scripting, because in reflected cross-site scripting, the malicious script, that is the code with exploitation, will be reflected from the web applications to the user browser. So it is called non-persistent. While stored accesses will not reflect, but it directly injected into the vulnerable websites. So it is called persistent cross-site scripting. So this is the two major difference between the reflected and stored cross-site scripting. Now let us deeply learn about reflected cross-site scripting and stored cross-site scripting. So this is reflected cross-site scripting. Already, as I said, reflected cross-site scripting, the script will be reflected from the web applications to the user. So that in reflected cross-access, we can easily exploit any vulnerabilities, such as browser-based vulnerabilities or OS-based vulnerabilities. We can easily access those vulnerabilities. We can simply say that the attacker will own our whole system. So this is the main advantages of reflected cross-site scripting. In cross-site scripting, the hacker will search for a trusted website, and he will uh, forward all the malicious URL into the particular trusted websites, and wait for the user to visit the particular website and click on the URL. The attacker makes the users more curious by giving some interesting face, like by clicking on the link you will get some offers, or you will get some discounts. So by seeing these kind of interesting faces, uh, the user will more curious to click on the link. So once he clicked on the particular link, the link will be loaded on the user side, and the script will be triggered. So the hacker can easily get all the informations of the user from user system to hacker system. So this is the diagrammatical representation, how the attacker is extracting the information about the user. Uh, so in uh, so uh, the reflected nature of this attacks makes everything is possible. We can able to access the password managers, or we can able to access uh, forms, anything. It is this made very easy to extract all the informations. So this is all about reflected or access. Now we can enter into the stored accesses. Among all these three accesses, stored accesses plays a major role in cross-site scripting. And this is also called most damaging cross-site scripting, because here the attacker directly injects the exploitation code into the server side. Rather, in reflected cross-site scripting, they search for any trusted website to copy the URL, but in stored accesses, the hacker should not need any external way for spreading the malicious URL. Rather than they directly inject the script into the website, and it will be stored in the database. So whoever is accessing the particular website, for each visit, script will be for each visit the script will be triggered and forwarded to the user system, and executes the information about the user. The main advantages of stored cross-site scripting is the user is guaranteed to be logged in, whereas in reflected cross-site scripting, either the user may click on the particular URL, or they can just avoid by they can just avoid it and go on. But in stored cross-site scripting, the it is just enough the user should enter the website. So once the user is logged, the script will be triggered. So this is the main advantages of stored cross-site scripting. So this is how the exploitation is happened in stored cross-site scripting. Now let us see the various platforms for performing the cross-site scripting attacks. There are three major platforms. They are Burpshoot and the Browser Exploitation Framework Project, which is shortly termed as BEEF, and Metasploit. But here I'm going to use Burpshoot for performing the XSS attacks. Um, why I'm using Burpshoot for this means because Burpshoot is a crack crash platform for penetration testing, and it is easy to find the vulnerability in the website. Um, it it easily spots the weakness and gives the result as soon very quickly. So we are using Burpshoot. Um, Other main advantages of using Burpshoot is that it easily evaluates the security. For example, this page is very strong, or this pages is very weak. So it can easily evaluate and gives the informations to the attacker. So we are using Burpshoot. Another main feature of Burpshoot is suppose we want to leave the particular part of the web page, and we want to attack another part of a web page means Burpshoot provides the facility that we can omit that particular part of the website, and we can proceed the attacks on the another part of the website. So this is why I'm using Burpshoot here. Now let us see how to set up the Burpshoot, and here I'm using OWASP application, which is used for which contains many websites with vulnerability for particularly project purpose. So I'm using OWASP here. Um, to install the Burpshoot, visit on official website named as Sportsfigure. This is official website to download the Burpshoot. In Portsbigger, we have two editions of Burpshoot. One is Community Edition and the Professional Edition, where Community Edition is free of cost, and Professional Edition will cost of dollar $3.99. So we go with Community Edition because we are just performing a simple attack. So Community Edition is enough for us. Now we have to download the Burpshoot Community Edition. This edition will be downloaded as a exe file. After the completion of downloaded, we can extract the files from exe, and we have to begin the setup. In the setup process, we have to specify the path where Burpshoot should be installed in our system. For example, you can install the Burpshoot in C:, or D:, wherever you want. So in that, you have to specify the path and click on finish. Now the setup of Burpshoot is completed, and it will be installed on your system. Then we can see how to install OWASP. This is already I'll say that this is where we can perform any kinds of vulnerable sites, and we can perform it on it. So the official website for OWASP is SourceForge. So we can visit the SourceForge, and it has so many options. In that, we have to download Mutiliday 2. This is the best website for. This is the best one for doing attacks on vulnerable sites. So we have to download a Mutiliday 2, and this will be downloaded as a zip file. First, we have to unzip the file and extract all the files and copy into the DT docs file. So now the setup has been completed. Other than this two applications, we have to use any kind of service like WAMP or XAMPP. Now I'm using Apache XAMPP because to access the PHP and SQLs which is running on the background of the website, to access all those things, we have to use any kind of service. So I'm using XAMPP. Now we can go for the simple demo. First, we have to start the XAMPP. So this is a folder which I have already told that htdocs. Here we have to copy all the files of Mutiliday. So I have copied all the files into the htdocs. Now we have to start the XAMPP. We have to start the Apache, which is used to run the PHP files behind the websites, and we have to start MySQL. Then we can go for Burpshoot. burp shoot, and we have to start the burp shoot. We can just click on next because we are doing a temporary project, so it is defaultly in temporary project. So we can click on next, and we have to start the burp. The other main advantage is that we should not have any other externally burp gives us a browser within this edition. So first we have to go to proxy tab, and here uh, the intercept tab is on. The intercept is on by default. First, we have to off the intercept button. This intercept tab is used to modify the codes before forwarding it to the user. So first, we have to off the intercept, and we have to open the browser. So this is the browser which is given by the Burpshoot community itself. We cannot go for any other external websites. Here we have to type the IP address, and we have to open Mutility. So this is a website where we can perform the cross-site scripting attacks. First, we have to go to OWASP 2017. Here we have to perform cross-site scripting. First, we are going to do a demo for reflecting cross-site scripting. So we have to go for reflected, and here we can do any projects. But for example, I'm doing a DNS lookup. This is a page which is called as a domain name system. Here with here the given email ID or name will be translated into the numbering address. So this is a advantage of this website. We can search anything. For example, we can go for www.yahoo.com or google.com, anything else. And now I'm searching for www.yahoo.com. So just enter and click on lookup DNS. So here this here the result is shown that uh, it gives the address of the website and what we searched. So now we have to go to Burpshoot, and we have to on the intercept. Then only the codes will be copied here. Then go to browser and refresh this page. Click on continue. Now the code will be displayed here. So we have to make changes. Here we have to uh, add some scripts or anything which you want to add to the user browser. So first right click and click on send to repeater. Now this code will be sent to the repeater tab. Check on repeater tab. Here this is the request which we are requesting here. We have inspector block. Here we have to write the script, malicious script. The malicious script can contain anything. It may contain a virus, or it may contain any computer worms, or any malicious URL. Whatever we have to insert here in the body parameter tab. Here the targeted host we came across is www.yahoo.com. So here we have to change the value of yahoo.com, and we have to create the malicious script. For simple demo, I'm just giving a alert about that particular page. Here I'm typing script alert. For example, I'm just giving you have been hacked. We have to close the script. Then click on apply changes. The changes we made is be reflected here. So target host equal to, this is the script we have written here. So for sending this request to response, click on send button. Now the request will be moved to response. If you are not sure whether the applied changes is correct or not, go and check here. We can check script alert. So script alert you have been hacked is placed here. So now we have to click on right click and click on show response in browser. Now the pop-up will give the URL where you can make the changes. So just copy it and paste it in a browser. So this will give the alert that you have been hacked. For example, you can give some URL in this means by clicking on OK, you will be directed to the malicious URL, and the script will be triggered and your information will be uh, forwarded to the hacker. So this is first type that is reflected. Then we can perform stored accesses. We have to go to proxy and we have to off the intercept, then only the page will loads. So now here again we have to go to OS 2017, then click on access scripting, and persistence is another name of stored accesses. So click on persistent and click on add to your blog. Uh, this page seems like, for example, if you are searching something in Wikipedia, means after completing after completing the study, at the end of the page, they have asked what is your name and email address and comments about this page. So this page is like that. Here we can give anything. For example, I'm just giving my name and click on save blog entry. The entry will be saved here with the name anonymous and the command is my name. So now just go on burp shoot and again on the intercept and again go to Chrome. Now reload this page. Now the code will be displayed here. So again we should do the same process. Right click, send to repeater. Now go to repeater tab. Again go to body parameter, and the blog entry with the value Gayatri. Change this name with your malicious script. The same script is the same script is given here. Then again click on apply changes. The changes will be seen here, and then click on send button. Now that will be sent to response. Now we again click right click and show response in browser. Again it will give the link. You have to copy the link and you should paste it in a Chrome. So here I can paste. So it displays alert that your system is crashed. So this is an example for stored accesses. Uh, for better for better understanding, I can do one more demo. This is for reflected accesses, and this is for stored accesses. As I said, stored accesses, the injected script will be copied to the database, and it always remains there. So, for example, I'm copying this reflected link. Just a sec. So I'm just copying the link. I'm using second desktop as a user desktop. So here I'm just pasting that link of reflected CSS. It never gives alert that what we given here is first we have given your system has been hacked, but in this we cannot see that alert which we given there. But in stored accesses, we copy the stored accesses link and paste in this user browser means it will show the alert that your system has crashed. So this is the major difference. In stored cross-site scripting, the script will be directly injected into the server. So whoever is accessing the particular website, each time the script will be triggered and it will be executed. But in reflected, only particular users is targeted and they can be hacked. So this is my explanation. This is my demo. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Gayatri, for your wonderful presentation. which give a clean idea about the cross-platform, what you told about on XSS, and the intention that you take it for showing the demo on different aspects by taking Burp Suite and further OSWAPs and all. So thanks for your presentation, and thanks to Mr. Karthikeyan also to give the wonderful presentation on jQuery. So this is a consecutive event of a STEM program which we started in the pandemic situations with the support of some good minds of people at the back end of our department. And especially I want to thanks to Mr. Nurul Hasan, who is at the support of any situation regarding the consecutive program which has been done by the program. So, and as well as you want to know about the students, you want to know about the overall at the back end who are really working for this kind of STEM program to be a successive one. Mr. Rutna Kumar, Mr. Sabari, Mr. Arunagiri, Mr. Tirumalayan, most of the peoples at the background of this program, those who are hidden, but they are the supportive at the back end. Like we know that the back end, we can't able to see the back end, but back end is very powerful. So I thanks to all the people, those who have been supporting at the back end of this particular program, because when initially we started this particular program, we find some kind of hurdles, but anyway, we having good response from the students aspects, and we also have the consecutive program for the next month. Also, some of the students have been show their interest that we are ready to do it. So I'm very happy on this successive one, the program which is going to be done by the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, especially for the two kinds of aspects. And this program is being mainly initiated. One is how the faculty as well as the students can able to enrich their technological aspects knowledge to be shared with the community, and as well as how the faculty as well as the students can able to know about their knowledgeable events and knowledgeable aspects related to the skills, innovations, soft skills and communications. So it is one of the platform which giving that particular environment for the both students as well as the faculty, and especially the students, those who have done today, Mr. Karthikeyan and Ms. Gayatri, will get some kind of satisfaction on doing some kind of activities related to the development of technology. Thank you, both the young minds of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Thank you all your presence. Let me shortly meet on the STEM 12.0 on the next month. Thank you, students. Thank you.